All right, guys, let's welcome Jackson from Silly Goose to the Talk to Me podcast. Jackson, man, it's been a couple of days since I've seen you, but how's everything going?
Good, man. Yeah, I'm super stoked to be here.
Awesome, man. Well, the new album Keys to the City out October 17th, Blue Grape Music, man, and just checking it out. It's funny kind of hearing like the younger guys kind of digging into that late 90s, early 2000s sound, man. So kind of talk about just your influences and getting to this point with the band.
Yeah, so I mean, I grew up listening to like all the late 90s, early 2000s new metal type of stuff. And so it's kind of just like naturally like what came to me like when I started creating music. But yeah, this new record is kind of just like everything that Silly Goose has done before, but better. We want to try
Right.
level up with every release. And yeah, I'm just really stoked on it. The musicianship, I feel like the rest of the band killed it. Ian killed it. There's some more singing than usual on this record. I feel like my screams, just like everything, we just wanted to top what we did before.
When it comes to, I guess, writing this style of music, man, and are you kind of listening to going back, checking out old records, and I know you and I talked about Head PE's broke the other day, kind of going back, listening to those records and kind of getting a vibe, or is this truly just what's coming out of you right now?
Yeah, I and yes, I love that record. I don't know if I ever, and maybe like this isn't the best answer. I don't know if I ever go back and listen to things to like, I don't know, like what we write kind of just like comes to me in the moment. And it definitely like sounds the way it does because of what I grew up listening to. Um I don't know, like yes, I do go back and listen to those records, but I guess what I'm trying to say is I'd go back and I'd be listening to those anyways, whether I was trying
Right.
to draw inspiration or not.
Nice. Kind of being from Atlanta, obviously you've got Stuck Mojo being one of the pioneers kind of the rap metal scene, and kind of I don't necessarily think they get as much credit as maybe they should have in the new metal scene. But talk about kind of growing up in Atlanta, playing shows in Atlanta. Obviously, I've been to the Masquerade a ton of times, the old one. I haven't necessarily been to the new one, but kind of talk about just kind of getting the band together and the Atlanta scene.
Yeah, totally. So the band started like 7 or 8 years ago, not always under the name Silly Goose, but that's what, like, 8 years ago is when me and our drummer Alan met, and then him and I have been at it like ever since then. And then we kind of like started going by Silly Goose in like 2021. Um but yeah, we both are like kind of from different suburbs of Atlanta. We all live like around Atlanta. And yeah, we've played plenty of shows like in the local scene, and like DIY shows where it's like it's just us, like the sound guy and the other the other bands on the bill. So we've definitely played our fair share of just like empty shows back home. Um and yeah, so we're very much from like the Atlanta DIY type of scene.
So have you noticed now that you guys have left Atlanta, and now that when you come back to Atlanta, you're like more, like the heroes coming home, and kind of getting a bigger welcome back home, rather than like, like where were you guys back in 2021, 2022, like before all of the scandal and everything else with you guys?
Right. Yeah, there's definitely a noticeable difference that like now when we come back home, a lot of the time, like we've sold out like Purgatory at the Masquerade, we've sold out Hell. So like when we announce like a headline show at the Masquerade, like it will sell out, and it's always fun to come back home and play. Um so yeah, it's a good feeling whenever we get to come home and play.
So where did the guerrilla style shows come from? Obviously showing up and playing in the back of a U-Haul, or showing up at Barstool, or just you're almost like making it happen. You're not waiting for the proper show to, the proper tour to come along, the proper this to come along. You're like, no, we're gonna be playing and you're gonna see us and you're gonna hear about it,
Right.
kind of deal.
Yeah, and that kind of comes from like what I was saying, kind of what I was saying before, and that like we've played plenty of shows to nobody, and that shit sucks. Sorry, I don't
Right?
know if I can curse on here,
No, you're
but
good. Yeah.
I just got like fucking tired of like playing local shows to nobody. So yeah, I don't know. I feel like we're just like hustlers. Like we just want to like get our music out to as many people as we can. So like I mean, we'll still when we're back home, we'll go pass out flyers. Like even though like you could say
Nice.
we don't have to be. Um, just like I like be like I don't like sitting at home doing nothing. I don't like just being behind like my phone or whatever, like creating content. And we do have to do that too. But yeah, kind of where all of like the crazy stuff came from is just like not wanting to like follow the traditional like path and like kind of being sick of just like playing like empty rooms. So just like we're gonna go out and make the fans.
So obviously, the big thing that happened recently was, I believe, was that in Chicago where you got arrested for the
Yeah,
for the show? And I know we've talked about, I know you probably talked about this tons, but I mean, something like that happens and it's plastered all over social media. It's all over all the metal news, man. So kind of talk about how you got arrested and then what's happened since then.
right. So yeah, so last year we played outside of Lollapalooza like 2024 as the festival was letting out just to like people leaving and we've done that type of thing like many times. But we had this deal worked out with the guy who like ran the gas station that we played at where we'd pay him like 100, 200 bucks and he'd let us play. And we did that like every night last year. And like it was fine. It was dope. And as a result of that, we got onto Lollapalooza this year. Like, so we played Lala on Thursday and it was sick. And then we thought, why not, since we're already here, go back and do the same thing again? Cause like, fuck it. Um, so Thursday we play Lollapalooza. Friday night we play at the gas station. Um, and then this was the same like agreement with the dude who ran it. Except like the cops like showed up. Somebody called the cops. And I guess when they showed up, the dude who ran the gas station didn't want to get in trouble with the city.
Right,
And
gotcha.
obviously, I don't have like any sort of like written or like any agreement other than a verbal agreement with him. So when the cops got there, he didn't want to get in trouble with the city, and he was like, "No, I told them to leave. Like I want them trespass." Um, so there was no like conversation or anything. They just put me in handcuffs and brought me to jail. Like there
Oh
was no
wow.
um actually, yeah, it was pretty crazy because usually, like, I've dealt with the police a lot in my life from doing
Right.
stuff like this, and usually I talk my way out of it, or I'm like I don't know, they're just like, yeah, you can't be playing music here, and that's it. But they didn't even say anything. They were just like, put your hands behind your back, and then I went to jail. Um, but I actually like the lady who arrested me. She was chill. Her and I actually had some friendly conversation on the on the way back to the police station. Um, and then yeah, it wound up being a good thing because the band got a ton of press from it.
And what's happened since then? I think you said it got thrown out or whatever.
Yeah, so I got like a lawyer, and then there was a court date, and I showed up to the court date with my lawyer, and the guy from the gas station didn't show up, and like that combined with I think just me having a lawyer, like I don't know, they threw it out, thankfully.
Nice. And so and I think you said you were trying to get it, off your record completely, to make sure that, you can tour Canada and everything else without any issues.
Yeah, so we're actually I'm in Canada right now, so we had no
Uh-oh.
problem like getting into Canada. We're still working to get it like completely expunged from my record, like with the lawyer. Um, I think I have to wait. I think the guy from the gas station can reopen the case for like 5 more months if he wanted to. But then after that, I can like pretty much like pay to work to get it expunged. But I think everything's gonna be okay. We've got some European dates in November, and I'm not too worried about it.
So why would they just arrest you and not the entire band? That's what I want to
Right?
know. Is it, like what's going on there?
Yeah, I don't know. They just saw me. I was the guy with the microphone yelling at everybody. So they got me, and then they left everybody else. Like they didn't even try and get the other guys, which I was happy about because my
Yeah,
worst nightmare is like the gear being left alone and the van
true.
being
Yeah.
left alone in the street. So yeah, I wasn't questioning it.
So when you do those shows, I mean, is everything kind of ran off a generator, or do you plug it into the wall socket on the side of the gas station? Like, how are we getting
Yeah,
some amplification there?
we have a generator.
No, nice. I think it's nice though. I mean, I commend you for getting onto Lollapalooza because of doing it before, but then still kind of like going with your roots and going back to the gas station. So it's not you're not above playing the gas station
Right.
parking lot. You're
No,
still
Silly
like
Goose is not above. We are not above anything. We are still, when we play these festivals and stuff, we're still like, I mean, we'll play festivals to. I mean, I saw you at Louder Than Life, and like we'll
yeah.
play to thousands of people, and then that same day, earlier in the day, we'll be outside passing out flyers. And then some people think that yeah. There's always haters, but we're literally, it doesn't get more DIY than Silly Goose, I feel like.
Well, I mean, honestly, like over the last few years, I've been noticing it popping up here and there just from you being so DIY and not, it's not like I'm getting a ton of things from like PR people and things like that. It's just like Silly Goose is doing something again, or Silly Goose is doing that, or
Right.
it's never like I'm being pitched something. It's like I just happen to notice it again, and I'm like, my God, like you are the definition of DIY.
Thank you.
You talk about, talk about the, flyering, the art of flyering, which I think is lost maybe on the younger generation, just because of, it's easy to put a post on Facebook and Instagram and X and TikTok and everything else, but actually like getting out and handing someone a physical flyer. I don't know when the last time I got handed a flyer was.
Yeah, totally. So there's always going to be like people, like when you pass out flyers, that like don't want it or whatever.
Right.
And then once you get over that and you get comfortable with like rejection, it gets pretty easy. And I feel like when we pass out flyers at a lot of rock and metal shows, people are very receptive to it.
Yeah.
But yeah, I feel like a lot of bands, it's just the same like fucking formula, and same like, oh, we got to create content and like do this. And I don't know, I feel like a real, especially in today's times, like real human interaction and connection just like beats, oh, will always beat that. Because like when you have an experience with someone in real life, and meet them and talk to them and like actually meet the band, and you see them out there working, you're much more likely to like support than like if you're scrolling and there's like a video.
Right. Um, Obviously the Barstool thing, how did that come about? Where you guys kind of played the Barstool offices? Was that which office was that? Was that New York, Chicago? Where was that one?
Yeah, that was sorry, one second.
Yep.
That was in New York. Sorry, I had to think. But yeah, that was in New York. There was a guy who worked there who was just like a fan of us. Or no, yeah, he was a fan of us. He saw us doing a similar thing in New York City, and then he invited us to come play The Office.
I love it, man. Kind of on the record, just kind of listening to some of the lyrical content, things like that. You're talking about selling out, playing the masquerade. And do you feel like you have a lot of haters in the music scene, in the Atlanta scene? You're kind of taking some jabs at some people there.
Yeah, I feel like if you live in Atlanta, Georgia, and you're in the local scene or like somewhat connected, you definitely know Silly Goose, and you either love Silly Goose or you hate Silly Goose, and I love that. I we have a lot of people though back home who cheer us on, and like every time we have a headline show at the Masquerade, like the past 8 shows in the Masquerade have sold out or something like
Nice.
that. So yeah, there's some assholes, but there's some cool people too. Mostly cool people.
Yeah. I like when a band that's not necessarily broken through And I kind of take this back to maybe even like Kid Rock on like Devil Without a Cause. And when he was just like, he was singing about being a rock star and being super famous, but at that point he wasn't a rock star and super famous. And kind of, some of the lyrics on what I've heard on this record, you're kind of projecting you see us on tour, you see us doing that, you see us doing this. It almost kind of harkens back to that where you're kind of putting it out into the world and out into the ether of like this is what we're going to be doing,
Right.
and maybe not there yet.
Keys to the City is kind of like that. Like we
Yeah.
touched on a second ago. Like there's some jabs taken at like people who like from back home, but then also a big part of the song is like I'm kind of laughing to myself that like I feel like to most of the world, or like we're perceived a certain way. I always think it's always like it's easier to um people post the best of everything online, and maybe from the outside we look like we're doing super well, and we're still sleeping in our van each night, we're still like showering at Planet Fitness. So it's kind of just me laughing at like you think I've like made it, and we're still like hustling.
Yeah. No, I mean, and it's definitely a hustle, man, and it's wild. I mean, we talked about, Primer 55 going back out, and we know we leave next week, and I'm just like, I haven't toured in 18 years, so I'm like, I'm ready to kind of be back in the van, showering at Planet Fitness and doing all that nonsense again, man. It's gonna be fun.
That's awesome. By the way, I'm so excited for you guys to go back out. Are y'all, I've seen like the tour dates, but I don't remember, are there any that are like close to Atlanta?
I think the closest on this first run is like St. Louis. We're playing Pops,
Oh,
so
okay.
but that's where the
Yeah,
Loose video is filmed, so that's kind of a throwback there.
yeah. When is the tour, when does it start and when does it end?
We're doing a quick run like the 9th through the 16th or something like that. It's like 7 shows in 8 days in October. And then the tour with Smile Empty Soul is like November 1st through the 23rd or something like that. So yeah.
Okay, cool. Awesome. Yeah, I
Yeah.
definitely want to catch that because as you know, I've told you before, I'm definitely a fan of you guys as well and grew up listening to Primer 55. So yeah, if there's like a tour date or if I'm in a city where you guys are playing, I will be there.
Yeah, man, hit me up. We'll get you in on that one. We talked a little bit about Hed PE's Broke, back at Louder Than Life, and you talked about it being one of your favorite records. What about that record kind of draws you in to I think it's a
Oh,
great record. I love it. So.
that record's awesome. I still listen to that record all the time. Just like I don't know, just everything about it. I feel like it's very hard for me to find a perfect record. Every record I listen to, there's like one song that's like a skip or whatever. That
Right.
record is no skips. And it's just everything I love about new metal and that I want to like emulate. Like it's fucking angry, and Jared's like his like his screams sound insane, his singing sounds dope on that record, and then like just like his flows are really good. Yeah, and just like the attitude behind that record is I love it.
One of my all-time kind of claim, you get to boast about a show you saw back in the day. It was Fear Factory on Obsolete. It was System of a Down on the first record. It was Hed PE on Broke, and it was Spine Shank on first or second record. Like that was the bill.
Yeah.
At a small like 200 cap club. It was wild. Like
I wish I could have been there for that.
yeah, no, it was definitely a time to be around, man. Um, it's awesome you guys are going to Europe. I was kind of checking out the dates. What's kind of the on the horizon for Silly Goose, obviously with the new record coming out and everything else.
Yeah, I mean, for the rest of this year, we're just like busy all year. We're on this tour right now with Landmarks, Novelist, and Resolve. And so we're in Canada right now, and then we've got some more dates on the West Coast, and then we work our way back home through Texas. Um, but yeah, this tour with them has been full US, and then in November we go to Europe. We're supporting Hot Milk, and we've got some headline shows while we're over there. And then December we've got some of our own headline shows in the US in markets we didn't hit with Landmarks. And the record comes out in about a month, October 17th, or less than a month. That's like, it comes out in like 17 days.
It's crazy.
Which is awesome. Yeah, I just realized that. So we're just gonna be playing the new record like the rest of the year, and we've got some cool festivals and stuff coming up for next year.
Have like, have some of your heroes kind of reached out to you and said like, we see what you're doing, anything like that? Anybody crazy sliding into those DMs, or are you running into people at festivals, things like that?
I've definitely met some really cool people in passing that I like didn't think I would meet, or like opportunities that I'm just like whoa, like this is happening right now. Um I don't know, like it I, getting to meet like Hed PE was like a big one for me.
Nice.
Like, and I know like I've met like definitely like some very famous people, and I know that Hed PE is um a different size, but for me it was a very big deal. Um but I don't know. Yeah, I'm kind of blanking.
No, that's cool. I mean, I get that, man. Like with the, it's funny, even interviewing people for the last however many years I've been doing this, 10 years, it's like not necessarily the biggest names that I've been more nervous about. It's been like it's the ones that hit you, that you were a fan of when you were 13, 14, 15, and you see
Right.
them pop up on the screen and you're like, oh my God.
I met very big name people, but it doesn't
Yeah.
what ones that mean the most are like, yeah, who I grew up listening to. Yeah, totally.
Well, man, as we wrap up here, I'll just let everybody know again, October 17th, Keys to the City, new Silly Goose record out on Blue Grape. Is Blue Grape Records, are they associated with Blue Grape merchandising from back in the day? Is it the same company, or is this a
Uh,
totally different company?
I don't know if it's like the exact same company, but it's the same person behind it. Dave
Okay.
Rath owns the label. I'm sure. I hope I get this story right, but I think that used to be his merch brand.
Okay.
And then he started the label like some like later.
Yeah. Because every Roadrunner band, like it was like, I guess if you signed with Roadrunner, you went with Blue Grape merchandising. So it was like I used to get those catalogs at the house. You get them and you circle every shirt that you want, or you order your Sepultura shirt through Blue Grape, man. So yeah, that's definitely a cool company to be attached to.
For sure.
Well, cool, man. Well, Jackson, man, safe travels, all that good stuff up there in Canada, and we will talk to you soon, man.
Yeah, thank you so much for taking the time.